it's interesting in the respect that I look over my whole career. I started straight out of high school as a draftsman. That led to engineering because it was an engineering firm, and I was thinking at the time that's the best possible way through. And I came out with an engineering degree, and I kind of fell into this role where I could do anything because I was a designer and a drafty, and Becca really used that. And it was, to be honest, it was fun. But man, I was working 300-hour months. Like I was cranking it, and they saw that desire and that passion. And then I went from there and I created Canterbury Young Professionals. Well, I was part of the group that created Canterbury Young Professionals and became the president almost immediately. And then 4 years later, handed it over. And we'd taken that nationwide and we'd done all this stuff. And then during that time, I started going to Les Mills and became a group fitness instructor. And next thing you know, I'm taking 5 or 4 group fitness classes every week. And even from there all the way through to where I am now, what I have is I think what you need to excel in anything is passion. You have to be passionate about it. I was passionate about drafting. I used to go, it was in Palmerston North, so it was a lot easier to travel, but I used to go in there, I was like there at 7 o'clock every morning, and you'd go home at 6, you'd come back at 7:30 and you'd work till 10:30 because that's what you did. And it was fun. And we were passionate about it. And
I do that today.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and it's the same with me like now. Like I live a mile out of town, but I come in first thing in the morning. So then, I guess my advice revolves around what is it in your daily habits that create the right atmosphere for you to excel in.
Yep.
And what it is getting up early and having something that you've got to do in that day and getting it done by 10 a.m.
You had to bring up getting up early, didn't you?
Yeah, you have to. But
no, I don't, though.
Yeah. I had to do that because I live a long way out of town.
On a good day, I don't wake up until fucking 10 a.m.
Oh, no, look, I wish I could. But you can tell, like, I'm sitting here right now.
No.
Okay, yes, I've had a coffee. You're all going, man, how many cans of V has that guy drunk? And I haven't had any.
Yeah.
And it kind of comes down, I mean, like, okay, I'm a bit naturally like this. But when I found, and the gym was a big part of this, when I found something that I was tremendously passionate about, it motivated me to go more and more and more and harder.
Yeah.
But then I kind of look at it now. I stopped working at Les Mills in 2020, and I look at this now, and I have no problems maintaining that momentum and that passion, just purely because it's almost like a ball that starts to roll. Sometimes I need something to instigate it. Sometimes we need a break.
Yep.
But it's there. It's kind of getting into those habits, and those habits can then revolve around whether that person you're talking about be going into design and going into an office and working for 8, 9, 10, 12 hours a day, staring at a computer screen trying to solve problems. You've got to be passionate about wanting to solve those problems.
Absolutely. 100%.
And I think if you've got that passion, you're going to do well regardless.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of the same. Like, I got into, here's an interesting story. I actually trained my entire life to become a Formula One race engineer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. I love cars.
Mate, all through my engineering, I used to spend my time on racetracks.
Wow,
and, try working my way towards being a race engineer. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I specifically wanted to be Lewis Hamilton's race engineer. 44 for life, but never mind.
Cool.
Right? 2008 happened.
Yes.
And I was in Dubai and couldn't land a job.
Oh, no.
Yep. And
right.
and it just became a case of survival for me at that point. It's like, all right, how long can I live off mom and dad's bank? Right?
Yep.
I need to start doing something. I'm in a foreign country. The fear kicks in, right?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, it kicks in.
Yep.
And I'm lucky enough I landed a job with Mott MacDonald as a
is that right?
as a planner. They came for a group interview, and they just found me to be analytical and social at the same time. They said, that's kind of the unicorn we're looking for. I wasn't a great student. I was a shit student.
Yeah, well, same, by the way. So,
I was I was a pretty average student.
C's get degrees, man.
Yeah, mate. That's it. I got my degree. But what happened was, what I realized was being a race engineer wasn't very different to project controls.
No, fair point.
Yeah. So being a race engineer, I would have had to manage change in milliseconds.
Yeah.
And make decisions in milliseconds.
Yeah.
But as a project control professional, I manage change in days.
Yeah.
So the timeline varies, the industry is different, but it's kind of the same.
It's the same stuff.
Mate, and what I do just comes naturally to me. Like I don't, and and I'm extremely passionate about it. Like
Yeah.
I love what it's not even like working for me. It's like it's like me having fun. It's like
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, and yeah, I said I wake up at 10 o'clock. That's probably because I work till 3 in the morning. Or
Yeah,
2 in the morning.
yep. Been there, done that. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's a cycle that kind of works for me.
absolutely.
You know, I mean, I put the kids to bed, and that's it.
Yep.
Get to
I was doing that for a good portion of the years in David Reed Holmes. We went through some real rocky years. 2020 was an absolute classic for it. I mean, I think I'd taken my first full-time staff member on the beginning of March. Before the end of March, we were already in lockdown, and I'm like, how do we sustain this?
Yeah.
By about the mid to late part of 21, we were still kind of in the same boat, and it was sort of like pulling my hair out, staying up late at night, couldn't see straight just about. Interesting story though. In October 2020, the 30th, it's about a week away, my son turned 8 and got a guitar for his birthday.
Oh yeah.
And my mum's family are very musical, and she was kind of like, you should pick that up. And I'm like, Gumby fingers, don't know how that's going to go. Turned out, I remember Tuesday nights. Well, actually, two things happened. One, I remember about 11:30 on a Tuesday night in July in 2020 thinking, I know why people have problems with suicide in this industry. That was not to say I got to that level. I'm not that person. However, I realised at about that point that this is where it goes, and this is the kinds of stresses and pressures that can cause people to think like that. So a couple of months later, after many, many more sleepless nights, got to this point in October where my son's guitar, little wee thing, sitting in the lounge, and I'm like, start picking it up and start doing stuff. By Christmas, had my own guitar. 1 year later, we've got 3 electric guitars, a set of drums, and it's been like a thing that I was able to do with him eventually. Admittedly, he's now gone skyrocket because he's young and they learn things fast. But talk about fun. And that, now, at night time, if I have any issue that I'm still kind of chewing on, I'll go and sit in the room and just play some guitar, and I go to bed and I can fall asleep.
Wow.
Yeah, which is a big change.
That's an amazing story. But interestingly enough, I got to the point where I was managing too many projects, and at that point,
yes,
you know, as a consultant,
yeah,
it's that's a fine line. Yeah, very fine line.
Yeah.
You've just overcommitted.
Yeah,
just that tiny bit.
Yeah,
and then you start losing it. I engaged Drew Knowles. Do you know who Drew Knowles is?
No, I don't.
Mate, man's a genius. Man's an absolute genius.
Really?
Like how he rewired my brain just helped me put things in perspective for me.
Yeah,
it's just beautiful.
Yeah,
and I worked with him for about 6 months to help me manage my stress, understand what I can and can't do.
Yeah, right.
Surround myself with a good team of people. That support structure.
Yeah.
I mean, alternatively, hit him up if you need any more help.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'm a little bit lucky. I've got, like, my mum and dad. My dad probably went through the same thing. He started a business just before the share market crash in the 80s. Business is still going now. He's kind of been there, done that, seen that. Sheet metal industry, you know, probably kind of similar challenges to what we have. But yeah, it's like a mum and dad thing, reliant on. I've got my youngest brother who's tremendously good, like being able to bounce stuff off as well. So, but no, point taken, because it's important, especially in our in the construction industry, to be able to keep a level head in perspective.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, okay, so key message there is passion.
Absolutely right.
You want to grow in your career?
You've got to do something that creates it.
Yeah.
However that happens.
Identify what drives you.
That's it.
Yeah. Now, interesting perspective, mate.